Hi, I hope this video finds you having a good week. We are moving on to the second in our mini series on Jesus's riddles, with the message brought to us by Alex with his fantastic visuals. Like before, we will have a series of questions for you to work through either on your own or in a group setting. It's up to you. Of course, you can do both, and I shall hand over to Alex.
Jesus was a brilliant storyteller because his stories were more like riddles. They had like a secret truth hidden in the middle of them that we had to try and kind of work out. You know, this is one of his shorter riddles or parables. I've called this one the pray-off. I'm going to take you through it super fast. Then we're going to ask ourselves some questions based on what the story means. So strap yourselves in. This is the pray-off. As Jesus hung out with his disciples, there were some people around him who seemed like they were super confident about the amazing holiness that they had inside them, especially when they compared themselves to other people. Jesus was not comfortable with this whole idea that some people are better than others, or that some people deserve God to answer their prayers more than others. So with those people right in his sights, he told them this riddle. Once two men went to the temple to pray. One of them was a dedicated religious leader whose title was Pharisee. He did a load of holy things. The other man was a man who was seen by everyone as being a traitor. This man's job was to collect money from Jews and give it to the Romans instead. He could charge whatever he wanted to, and he could keep the rest as his pay. So these two men went up to the temple, the holy Pharisee and the traitor tax collector. The Pharisee stood up in front of everyone and prayed about himself. He prayed, "God, I want to thank you that I'm not like these other people here. I'm no robber. I'm not an evildoer. No, I keep my thoughts and actions pure. No unfaithfulness or rudeness in here. And especially, God, thank you that I'm not like that tax collector, traitor. I fast, not once a week, but twice. And everything I have, I give 10% all back to you, God. Even my garden herbs." But the tax collector, he stood far back from the front, away from the public eye and away from the holy space. In fact, he couldn't even bring himself to look up to heaven. With his hands on his heart, he whispered, "God, have mercy on me. I know I'm living so far away from how you want us to be." Listen to this, Jesus said. This man, not the other one, went home with a clean record before God. Everyone who speaks about themselves as being better than others will be humbled by God, and everyone who is truly humble, presenting a true picture of themselves, will be raised up higher by God. That's the riddle of the pray-off. So, let's take the riddle and unpack it a bit with some questions, but as a health warning, you might find some of this a little bit uncomfortable. First, let's talk about the start. Two men heading up to the temple to pray. So what we know is both of them do want to meet with God and they do want to talk with him. What we know about the first man is he's trying to put all the religious stuff in so that he pleases God. He's probably studying the Bible really, really well. He's probably doing as many things as possible to get his worship right. He may be listening to the right sermons and avoiding all the wrong things. And we also know that the result of all of this, he's lost sight of his humanity. He thinks God is after some formula. If you fast and you study and you wear the right things and you know the Bible and you hang out with the right people, you go to church, you give to charity, or maybe you become a spiritual leader of some kind, hey, you have raised yourself above these other dirty people and you are better than they are. And people can see it in your worship. They can see it in the way you pray and your enthusiasm, and yeah. I know that because it's been part of me, and every now and again God shows me there are still parts of me that are like that. Judgmental, prejudiced, actually quite boastful about my wonder if there's a part of you that you can see yourself in this guy. Are there people maybe you look down on, even if it's upside down looking down? You know that most of us have huge groups of people that we'd never dream of speaking negatively about. But we still think it's okay maybe to make fun of super rich people and how they speak. Or maybe people from certain countries with certain accents, how people look, certain hairstyles or dress codes, maybe they're too fat or too thin, or maybe it's the LGBT community. I mean, really? And then it gets worse. This guy's also guilty of bullying. He stands up in front of everyone, he names the people he's happy he's not like, and then he points at this tax collector traitor and he gets everyone in the room to see him. I am convinced that God is not a fan of bullying behavior. Picking on anyone who's not like us or weaker or different to us. Can I honestly say that I have never been part of making someone else feel that way about themselves? I mean, I know I've done it. And every now and again, God shows me that I still do it. But the tax collector, he stands at the back. I mean, he's back from everyone. He's away from even the holy place. He can't lift his eyes up to God, and he whispers his prayer with this kind of feeble, whispering hope that God might possibly hear him. He's broken. He's embarrassed to be himself. He knows he's far away from God. He's ashamed of his actions, and he genuinely wants God to know that he's sorry. I've been this guy too. And honestly, my heart bleeds for him. I know he's a fictional character, but I can put my finger on people right now who think about themselves exactly how this guy thinks about himself. Do you know people like that? How do you think God wants us to act towards them? I mean, does he want us to stand up in front of everyone and point them out and revel in the fact that we're not like them? Could it be that in the same way that God enters this guy's heart and pours out his sunshine, his healing, his acceptance, his forgiveness on him, maybe we are meant to quietly come alongside these guys and pour out goodness, love, welcome, joy, acceptance into their lives, just like God is. It's no wonder, is it, that God gives his verdict. Jesus says, which one of these guys is going home having been heard and healed by God? Then Jesus gives us this final warning. Everyone who exalts himself, makes themselves better than other people, will be humbled. And everyone who's humble will be raised up. Somehow, God becomes the great leveler. It's not that some will be slammed down like God's some kind of bully, or that some will be made better than others, because then we're back to square one, aren't we? No. When we come to God, he brings about this sense of equality. You know, we are all worth the same. It's much more than most of us think we're worth, and no one is ahead of anyone else. If you're watching this now and you think that you are better than other people, this parable would tell you that you're wrong. That's what this parable says. And if you're watching it now and you know that you are like that tax collector, you keep yourself away from other people, maybe you even keep yourself away from God because you're thinking, I don't know if I'm even worth his time. Look at who I am. Look at what I've done. How could he accept me? Jesus wants you to know that you are worth the same as everyone else. He will hear you. He will heal you. He will transform you. He'll pour his sunshine into you. Open your heart. Let him pour himself into you. That is what the riddle of the pray-off is all about. And you can find it in its original form in Luke chapter 18, verses 9 to 14.
Wow. Was a challenging and encouraging riddle. I really appreciate the way Alex has communicated the message and also his honesty and openness and vulnerability as well in what he shared about himself and the questions he's asked too. So here are the list of questions. You can select which ones you focus on. You do that independently or in a group setting, or you end up doing a bit of both. What stood out to you? Can you see yourself in the Pharisee in this story? How? Can you see yourself in the tax collector in this story? How? Do you struggle to view everyone as your neighbour and worthy? If you do, or you do not, why do you think that is? Do you often see yourself as better than others? If so, how could you change that? I hope you found the message and the questions you focused on helpful. We're so grateful to Alex Brown for being happy for us to share and benefit from the videos he's created. I look forward to focusing on the third in the series of Jesus' Riddles next week with you all, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.